Welcome everyone to OnPodcast, the On Microsoft podcast, where we talk about Microsoft stuff on a podcast. I am your host today, Kareem Anderson. I'm joined by the world's greatest co-host,
Arif Bacchus.
and we have a sort of relatively small pod, but I mean it's still news, so we're here to report it. We have a list of things to give you guys today, starting off with hardware. We know we missed it during build, so we're going to try and come back around and give you some hardware news, talking about the Surface Laptop Go 2.
And then we also have some news about Microsoft Edge, which got a major redesign, but Microsoft didn't talk about it. It's hidden away in the settings. So we'll talk about it and let you know how you could get this new design in
Yeah,
Microsoft Edge 102.
our own Air went on his own version of like National Treasure to find this like hidden version, and so
uh,
he'll walk you through the steps. Then we have the Microsoft Store app tweaks in the Dev channel, which are small, but they're refinements. They're things that we kind of just put a little polish over the whole Windows 11 aesthetic and animation profile. So we'll talk about that. Then we'll jump into our fast recap, where we'll be talking about Microsoft laying out four core new principles for unionization, for employee unionization. I think they're trying to get out ahead of any type of major unionization because I think in the last 2020, 2021 has been like kind of the year and a half of unions coming back. So maybe they're looking ahead for that.
and Windows on ARM. Spotify released a new Windows on ARM app, so we'll have the details on that.
Yeah, and then we'll be talking about the June Xbox update, which should be adding some new achievements abilities. We'll get into some details about that.
And if you use Microsoft Excel, be prepared to lose two features coming in the middle of June.
Because what's a Microsoft product when it doesn't lose features, right?
Yeah, and Edge. We talked about Edge getting a new design, but there's also a new feature that Microsoft is working on for Edge known as a drop feature. So, well, you know what drop is and what it could do for you.
Yeah, this is huge. This is a cross-platform kind of play, and we'll get into details of what this could mean for the future of softwares, especially Edge in specific. Then we're going to get into our week ahead, which is all about you and your displays again.
Yep, I have a new Dell 34 curved USB-C monitor for review.
Yeah, I promised you guys I finally wrote up my Yoga 9 review. So you can go head over to our website to read about that. I should be having the Acer Swift one up next week as well. I have a standing desk review. I also have I think they sent me a Chrome Duet, so I can start talking about Chrome OS as well. So for any of you, bipartisan Google/Windows fans, I'll have some stuff about that as well, kind of compare and contrast. And I think I'm getting the smart clock with Alexa as a review unit as well. So we'll let you guys know about all that stuff in the coming days.
Then we also have our Logitech Master 3S giveaway, which we talked about last week, and now the giveaway is finally live, so be sure to enter that.
Bam. So with all that being said, let's get started. We start off with talking about the Surface Laptop Go 2. This is a device I wrote about earlier this week because Microsoft decided to talk about it. They waited till after build to kind of get the hardware news out of the way. It's interesting this time around because I believe with the original Surface Laptop Go, they kind of pitched it as the I guess, school version of their Surface brand. You had your Surface laptop for all of us commercial and enterprise individuals, and then you had your Surface book for all you creative folks out there and whatnot. Anybody who needed more power, and then we had the Surface Go, which was just a smaller version of the Pro. And then they came with the Surface Laptop Go, which was again we thought it was supposed to be competing with Chromebooks because it came out right around the time of in-home schooling for a lot of people during the pandemic, and right around when sales for Chromebooks are exploding. This time around, they're still sort of pitching that, but they've also moved towards enterprise and low-cost, fleet devices, essentially. This time around, it's relatively the same. The design is identical to last year's design. The port selection is identical. The weight, everything about the device itself is pretty identical to I believe it's 2 years ago, so 2020.
Yep.
2020's offering, except you get a new color. You get I forget the actual
Sage.
sage.
Yep.
So it's just like a muted green color, which looks cool in pictures and stuff. I'm hoping that we can get one to review. And then you get 12th, no, you get 11th gen processors. I believe you get an i5. And you get a configuration with either 8 or 16 gigabytes of memory, and you can do. I think it's. Make sure I get the specs right.
128 gigabyte or 256 gigabyte, and the 16 gigabyte is for the commercial unit for RAM, and
Mhm.
consumer versions have 4 gigabytes of RAM or 8 gigabytes of RAM.
People finding the Microsoft Store. You can find the commercial section of it and get yourself a 16 gigabyte one. Otherwise, you'll be, like you said, stuck to the 4 and 8 gigabyte conversion configurations of this model. Like I said, I'm glad they added a new color. I think you and I are both on the same page. We wish they kind of beefed up some of the specs on it, maybe slimmed down the bezel. I do wonder it wasn't in any of their like press materials, or I didn't see nobody reporting about this. Anyone's gotten some hands on with it. The thing that was kind of a drawback was the non-lit keyboard. So
Yeah, it's
I
still
think,
it's still not backlit. It's
oh,
obviously it's a cost-cutting measure because if you want the backlit keyboard, you're gonna have to step up to a laptop 3 or even the newer laptop 4.
well, you say that, but isn't I believe the power button does have a light on it, right?
Yeah, just the for the fingerprint reader, but not on the entry, not on all models, only on some models. So
Oh, even that's just weird. Well, I mean, with that being said, I mean, if you did get a chance to get the last 2 year, the previous 2 years model, here's a chance to get a newer one. Again, they're pitching it as both fleet enterprise and just a commercial, I mean, consumer use. I mean, with Xbox Game Pass and some other things like that, it makes a pretty decent all around device for anyone who is transitioning maybe from middle school to high school, from high school to your first job, and you don't have a ton of money but you still need a computer. It's still a great device for that. You and I were talking off camera about their new advertising
yep.
for their laptop devices, and I think you and I both agree that they're finally starting to get the messaging out about how to differentiate between these versions of laptops. With that being
And
said, let's move
and
on
it's
to
we
software.
forgot to mention the improved webcam, which is like the
uh,
one thing,
yeah.
that they did include in the marketing materials. They said an improved HD webcam as well as the dual studio mics. So that's the big improvement other than the processor jumps from 10 to 11 gen. With 11 gen, you get the Iris Xe graphics, which you didn't get on the 2020 model. So those are the three core things that are new on the Surface Laptop Go 2.
And yeah, I didn't know. I don't want to be dismissive of the 11th gen because there are 12th gen out there, but the 11th gen was a huge performance leap. Like you said, the Iris Xe graphics are also pretty decent performance. As far as the memory on that, like I said, I wouldn't start anything at lower than 8 gigabytes. If you can
Yeah.
get a 16 gigabyte, you might have yourself a pretty decent laptop that can compete with the Surface laptop. You know, middle of the road devices that a lot of people have. It's just a smaller form factor. So if you need something that's, I believe, 12.7 inches or whatnot, as far as screen real estate, that is the device for you. I think we pretty much covered
Yep.
everything about the laptop because there wasn't too much to cover.
But now we're moving on to Microsoft Edge and this new design that's headed away in Microsoft Edge version 102, which rolled out, I think it was a couple days ago, and they didn't have any new features in it. It was just a bunch of security updates. But the folks at NeoWin, they were the ones who spotted that the same feature from the Canary version of Edge, where Microsoft was testing a huge redesign, is now also available in the beta in the standard stable version of Edge 102. And what is the redesign? Well, basically, if you've used Firefox or have seen Firefox recently, it has like that floating tab design where the tabs are rounded and it's not physically like attached to the address bar and there's like a little gap, kind of just like how the start menu in Windows 11 is, where you have that little floating, it floats above the screen. That's exactly what the redesign for Edge is like. In addition to the mica and the fluent design effects that you get from Windows 11, well, that's now in Microsoft Edge. And like I said, it's not enabled by default. You actually have to go to a very specific URL. I think it's Edge flags, Edge Visual Rujov show settings, and then you make sure that you had it enabled. You restart the browser, you go to Edge settings again, you choose appearance, then you change the settings toggles for show Windows 11 visual effects in the title bar and toolbar, and then make sure the option for rounded corners for browser tabs is turned on. And once you do all that, and you restart, you're going to have a completely new looking Microsoft Edge web browser that matches exactly with Windows 11's looks and feels.
With all that being said, let's hope this becomes a permanent feature,
Yep.
something you don't have to Da Vinci code yourself around to find it. I mean, you were able to kind of manifest it by doing all that stuff. And
It's pretty easy. It's not that hard to enable. We have a how-to on it if you want to check it out.
we also have screenshots too. So
Yeah.
for those of you who want to see, at least see what it looks like before you try all of that, it like you said, it looks pretty nice. It's subtle as far as its implementation, but again, like I said, I hope they bring this to the actual what is it, consumer version of this, regular builds or whatnot, whatever you're going to call it.
You mean like
So yeah,
not hidden away and straight up like in Edge 104 announcing a completely new redesign that everyone already tested from two releases ago that's not exactly new.
very much so, very much so. With that being said, we're going to move on to our store app tweaks with the dev channel. This, I believe, came in with the build update. What was this? A few days ago.
Yeah, it came in with Windows 11 build 25131 from the dev channel. And if you have an ARM-based PC like the Surface Pro X, then good news for you is that the biggest update for the store is that it is now ARM 64 optimized. So it should be able to perform faster, and your app listings will load faster and navigation will be faster. That's one of the biggest improvements coming with this new update for the Microsoft Store. And also, there's some changes for background apps updating. So now the store will skip any updates for apps that you have open so you don't lose any important work. And you could update those apps later from the Microsoft Store. And there are also two other changes for the store relating to pop-up experience. This is something that we talked about at Build, where if you see a Microsoft Store app and then you click the link, you'll get a little pop-up letting you know that, hey, this is what the app is, this is what it looks like, and this is where you could download it. And then there's also one change relating to movies, which I know you were checking out right before we started filming.
Yeah, we like to at least try to confirm these things. It's one thing to read off a bullet list of features that are supposed to be here, but as insiders between you and I, if there's an A/B test, one of us should fall into this. There are two letters or two of us. That's the math, but it doesn't always happen. And like I said, we're trying out I think they mentioned in the notes that there is more fluid animations coming to the store, and one of the examples was switching from I guess, games to video. And the other thing that they mentioned was being able to pull up the suggested streaming services for a lot of the video content that's in there. So if you are finding a show that you like on there and it happens to be maybe streaming on Paramount Plus and you don't know that, you click on the show and it'll give you a listing of where you can stream it from or buy it from in addition to that. So I wanted to try it out, and sure enough, it's not there for me, at least not yet. So they say it's there. Maybe you were part of the group or something, but we're going to trust that it's there for some people testing it somewhere and that the rest of us will get it pretty soon, because I go to Bing constantly to do stuff like that. Like when there's a show that I want to see, if I don't know that it's already, my, stable of streaming services like Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus, I then type in where to stream, and Bing has been very good at giving us a list of Paramount Plus or Peacock or whatever. It'll be great to have that within the store as you're already in front of the video, the content you want to see already.
And all that said, we hit our main topics, which means it is time for fast recap, and we're giving ourselves 10 minutes once again.
Yeah, let's see if we can hit that. I think we've been pretty consistent with that, and I've already wasted 40 seconds. So, with that being said, Microsoft is laying out four core company principles around employee unionization in an effort to kind of, I think, like I said, get ahead of this whole wave of unionization efforts by a lot of employees at a bunch of different big companies. We have the big unionization effort at Starbucks and Amazon. There's some other places going on. So I think Microsoft is recognizing that and trying to help employees around this. One of the things that I think they started listing as their principles is that they believe in the importance of listening to their employees' concerns. They recognize that employees have legal rights to choose whether to form or join a union. They're committed to creative and collaborative approaches with unions when employees wish to exercise their rights, and Microsoft is presented with a specific unionization proposal. And they also want building on their global labor experience. They're dedicated to maintaining a close relationship and shared partnership with all their employees, including those represented by a union. Now, I don't know if Microsoft proper, like the campus in Redmond and everything, has a union effort, but I do know that they support particular unions for all of their partners, people, companies, and associations that they partner with, and I think they just recently were forced to create a union. Let's see, back in 2017 or so, for contract workers. They had it was a big issue with contract workers. So I believe contract workers now can be represented by a union when negotiating for more benefits for Microsoft. Again, like I said, I'm not certain on employees currently at the campus in Redmond, but I do know that partners and contractors have particular unions that they can go with. So it seems like they're going to try and curb any efforts for people at the main campus to unionize by doing all of these things beforehand. But who knows? If things stay as is, maybe more people want different things in the future.
And moving on to the second topic, it relates to Spotify releasing a Windows on ARM app. Now, it's the same app as the regular Windows app. It's just that they've changed the coding and optimized it for ARM-based processors like the Microsoft SQ1 and SQ2 chip. And it's not something that was a big announcement. They snuck it under the radar in the Spotify community, and it's not a final app. It's still the beta app and it's a work in progress. But now it's just one more developer to come on board with ARM, joining other apps like Firefox, 7-Zip, Photoshop, VLC, Netflix, and even Zoom. They all have ARM optimized apps on Windows.
I'm gonna be very upset if the performance on this one is better than the regular Spotify for Windows app. I know that one's become a heavy kind of clutchy app, not akin to iTunes, but it definitely could use some performance updates. And hopefully, this ARM one is even better for people who are on those specific devices.
And third up on the list is the June Xbox update, which is now which should be rolling out right now. And what it does is it adds the ability to reveal secret achievements. Now, this is for people who do not like spoilers because when you're playing a game and you're looking through the list of achievements, secret achievements usually have spoilers, which is why the developers opt to make them secret. But now, if you want to not make them secret, you could just go to your settings, go to game activity, and then choose achievements. And then when you see a hidden achievement, you'll be able to reveal the full detail as well as the gamer score value. And this also works on the Xbox app for Android and iOS as well as on the Windows PC. So one more feature coming to Xbox.
And talking about features, here's two features leaving Microsoft Excel. I believe they made a big announcement back in June 2020 about Microsoft or money in Excel, which is
Yep.
basically, for all intents and purposes, templates to put all your finances and do your financial tracking within Excel. They made it easier for people to do that, either for personal finances or if you're running a small business or things like that. And I believe the other thing that they're removing is
Well, from data types in Excel, which was
there we go.
introduced right around the
Also
same
in terms
time.
of, yeah, that came out, I believe, yeah, you said June 2020. So
Yeah.
both those things came out at the same time, and I think they will be removed as of next year. You will no longer be able to add new Wolfram data types. And Microsoft is also allowing you to keep your current money templates and workbooks or whatnot. You won't be able to make new ones after, I believe it's June 11th, 2023. So you get a full year to prepare for this. In the meantime, they're doing kind of what they did with Groove, where they're offering another similar service. This one's a paid one that's provided by a company named Tiller. They are offering a 60-day personal finance spreadsheet offer. So maybe you can try it out for 2 months or so and see if you like that. But it should offer you the same sort of functionality as Money did, probably with even more features because you're paying for it. So for those of you who were, again, running small businesses or personal finances, keeping up for that stuff for the last 2 years, just be prepared to not be able to do that next year.
Again, it's only for people who have the Microsoft 365 subscription based version of Excel because these features were all like bonus features and add ons that come with your Microsoft 365 subscription. So if you're on the perpetual versions of Office like 2021 or 2019, this doesn't impact you at all. It's only
You,
for
you never even saw it.
subscription. But yeah, exactly. And speaking of never seeing it, one feature that I never seen is this new drop feature that's
Yeah.
in Edge Canary. The folks at Neowin, who are apparently on top of their game when it comes to Microsoft Edge, they found this new drop feature for Edge Canary, and it is what the name suggests it is. It's basically an icon that you click next to the tab, the area next to your profile on Edge, and you click this little envelope icon, and then you get a place where you could drop photos, pictures, PDFs, notes, and have them sync up using your Microsoft account and OneDrive across various different devices like your phones and other PCs. So it's basically like OneDrive, but for Microsoft Edge. And this is in Edge Canary. A/B testing, not everyone has it just yet.
Yeah, this like we said, this is has huge implications as far as Microsoft's platform for mobile because they don't they can put OneDrive on a lot of phones and things like that, but if you can store everything in the browser, that's one less app people might want to have to track and keep all their information on. And I keep a lot of sticky notes and things like that that you pull from the browser, and you don't have to jump between apps to do all that kind of stuff. So having it all built into just Edge, it makes we're starting to see Edge become its own platform, and hosting a bunch of different features just within that one app is always great.
And that said, I think we hit our fast recap in under 10 minutes. So kudos for us.
Yay!
And now it's time for our week ahead segment where I have yet another Dell monitor to review. This time it is the Dell 34 curved USB-C monitor, which, as the name suggests, it is a curved 34-inch USB-C monitor, which can function as a USB-C hub for your PC. You basically plug your PC in, one connection via USB, and enjoy a USB-C hub and get more productivity, not have to worry about cables. And it's curved, it's ultra wide, and it's very good for productivity. Full review should be coming in 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's got his review. I have a review for um, the the most recent Acer Swift laptop, which looks to be a pretty decent device. I just finished my Lenovo Yoga 9i, which I think I basically said is the most stylish, the most beautiful looking device of 2022 as far as laptops are concerned, at least 5 times in that piece. So go check it out. And then, like I said, I have a standing desk review that I need to offer people if you guys are looking to renovate your home offices still. I also have a Chromebook Duet 3 from Lenovo, which will take us into Chromebook and Chrome OS and Android devices, development, see how that compares to Windows as well. And the last thing I think I have is a smart clock. I don't know if you guys are filling your houses, home with smart devices. The smart clock is nice. This one, I believe, is kid friendly because there's these like new stands you can put them in that are like night lights and glow lights or whatever for your children. So I have kids. I'll review it, and if you have kids, I hope you like the review.
And that said, I think all that hardware out of the way and all that news out of the way, we just finished our podcast. So it's time for the traditional outro.
Yeah, you can find me at Mindhead1 on Twitter, and where can people find you?
A back Jarn.
Great. If you guys see me looking down at my screen, it's because I was trying to find that new drop feature because I have Canary on my device, but I don't know if I need to enable it. I was hoping to like be able to say, "Hey, it's confirmed we have it," but I think I have to jump through some more hoops in order to enable it. Anyway, you
Maybe
can
maybe by next podcast episode they'll enable it for you after they heard us talk about how awesome it is.
yeah, or how much we complain that we're not part of these A/B testing. We're part of the Z and Y group or whatever. You
Satya
can
is listening to us.
He better be. I mean, we're hoping that he comes on because we have tons of notes for him. But in the meantime, you can visit us at onmicrosoft.com for all of our latest articles, features, reviews, anything that comes up as far as content from Microsoft. If you don't have time for that and you just need a quick headline to kind of talk to your friends about, you can also visit us at Microsoft as our handle on Twitter. You can also visit our Instagram page where we kind of give snippets of the podcast. If you don't have time to watch the entire thing, you can go there and watch some funny selected clips from the podcast itself. If you're into gaming, you can visit us at Pinterest. That's where one of our writers, Brad, keeps everybody up to date on the latest things that are going on with Xbox, Game Pass, subscriptions, and games, all at the ready. And I believe next week or week after next is when they have the reveals. So be sure to stay there if you want to get any further information that you don't get from our website or the podcast or Twitter. And like I said, we want to thank you guys for joining us today and hanging out with us over the weekend. We appreciate everyone who's found the podcast through YouTube, anybody who's found it through Spotify or Apple Podcast or Stitcher, wherever you guys are finding these podcasts and listening to us. Thank you very much. We appreciate all of your time hanging out with us.
And take care, everyone. See you again soon. Same place, same time.
And scour Edge. If you're not using it, look for it because there are apparently tons of cool things hidden in there. Bye.
All right, everyone. Take care.